I was kicked out of my house at 14 because of bad grades. I went from being homeless to a successful businessman, but my parents tried to take credit for all my achievements. I wasn't some delinquent torching cars or flunking out for fun. I was just a kid who couldn't figure out why x plus y equaled. My life is over. But to them, grades were everything. My ticket to not being the family screw-up. They'd spent years drilling that into me, and when I couldn't hack it, they didn't hesitate. Out I went, no warning, no backup plan, just a big fat, good luck, from the people who were supposed to have my back. I sat there on the sidewalk, staring at the house I grew up in, wondering how the hell I was supposed to eat that night. Spoiler, I didn't. Not for 2 days. But here's the kicker. While I'm out there figuring out how to not freeze to death, my parents didn't even blink. Didn't call, didn't text, didn't send a carrier pigeon with a sandwich. Nada. I found out later they told everyone I ran away because I was rebellious. Yeah, right. Rebellious, like forgetting your lines in the school play is rebellious. They painted me as the problem child so they could sleep better at night, while I was sleeping under a freaking bridge. Classy move, huh? Meanwhile, my perfect sister, Lisa, straight a golden child, got to stay in her cozy bed, probably writing essays about how great her parents were. Must have been nice. So, before my parents decided I was trash worthy of the curb, I lived in their personal version of Guantanamo Bay, except instead of waterboarding, it was flashcards and endless lectures about my potential. From the second I could hold a crayon, they were on me like vultures on roadkill. You're gonna be somebody, my mom would say, shoving worksheets under my nose while I was still picking SpaghettiOs out of my teeth. Somebody, sure, but only if somebody meant a straight-A robot who never screwed up. Spoiler, I wasn't that kid. It started innocent enough. Kindergarten, first grade, they'd bribe me with ice cream if I got gold stars. Cute, right? Except by third grade, the bribes were gone, replaced with, "Why can't you be like Lisa?" Lisa, my sister, the human equivalent of a participation trophy, always perfect, always smiling, always acing every damn spelling bee while I'm over here spelling cat with a K and wondering why everyone's yelling. My dad would sit us down at the kitchen table, her with her neat little stack of A+ papers, me with my crumpled CS, and he'd just stare. "She's going places," he'd say, pointing at her like she was a freaking prophet. You're going nowhere unless you shape up." Cool, Dad. Real motivational. By middle school, it was a full-on war. They controlled everything, my schedule, my friends, my freaking socks. Homework wasn't optional. It was a death march. I'd be up till midnight, eyes burning, trying to figure out fractions while my mom hovered like a hawk, ready to swoop if I wrote a 7 instead of a 4. One time, I got a B on a history test, B freaking minus, and they grounded me for a month. A month? No TV, no going outside, just me and a stack of textbooks thicker than my skull. Meanwhile, Lisa's getting a new bike for her A in gym. She ran in a circle, and they acted like she cured cancer. The punishments got crazier the older I got. 8th grade, I flunked a science quiz because I couldn't memorize the periodic table. Sorry, I'm not a walking encyclopedia. My dad didn't just take my phone. He smashed it with a hammer in the garage while I watched. "You don't deserve this," he said, bits of plastic flying everywhere. My mom chimed in with, "We're doing this for your own good." For my own good? Lady, I'm 13. I need a phone more than I need oxygen. But no, they were saving me. From what? I still don't know. Fun? Happiness? A life? They compare me to Lisa nonstop, like she was the benchmark for human existence. Lisa doesn't talk back. Lisa finished her project early. Lisa's teacher says she's gifted. Great, pin a medal on her. I'd try to keep up. Swear to God, I did, but I'd zone out in class, doodling in my notebook while the teacher droned on about stuff I'd never use. I wasn't dumb. I just didn't care about their game. And they hated that. Every slip-up was proof I was a lost cause. Spill milk? Lisa wouldn't do that. Forgive my lunch? Lisa always remembers. It was like living with two parole officers who'd already written me off. 7th grade, I got into this after-school art club. Turns out I could draw. Like really draw. My teacher, Mr. Evans, said I had talent, even slipped one of my sketches into a local contest. I won 3rd place, a little certificate, and a $20 gift card. I was stoked, thought maybe this was my thing. Brought it home to show them, grinning like an idiot. My mom glanced at it, shrugged, and said, "That's nice, but it's not math. Focus on what matters." My dad didn't even look up from his paper. "Art's for hobos," he grunted. Next day, they pulled me out of the club and signed me up for tutoring instead. 2 hours a day of equations while my sketchbook gathered dust. That certificate? Found it in the trash a week later. Guess where my potential went? So there I was, 14, trash bag in hand, watching my parents' front door slam shut like it was the end credits of my life. No warning shot, no. "We'll talk tomorrow." Just a big fat, "You're out." After I bombed my midterms, I'd come home with that report card, 3FS glaring up at me like a middle finger from the universe, and I knew it'd be bad. But bad's one thing. Getting yeeted into the street with nothing but a hoodie and some socks with holes in them? That's next level. My dad didn't even yell this time. He just pointed at the door and said, "We're done carrying you." My mom crossed her arms, nodding like she rehearsed it. And that was it. 14 years of their crap, and I'm suddenly a stray dog. I stood there on the porch for a minute, half expecting them to open the door and say it was a prank. Nope. Deadbolt clicked, lights went off, and I heard Lisa's voice inside, probably asking if they wanted tea while I'm out here wondering if I'm gonna die. I didn't have cash, no job, no friends close enough to crash with. My phone was toast, battery long gone, and the nearest gas station was a mile away. It was November, too, wind cutting through me like I owed it money. I slung my bag over my shoulder and started walking, no clue where to, just away. First night, I slept in a park slide, curled up like a pretzel, freezing my ass off while some raccoon stared at me like I was the intruder. Glamorous, right? The next few days were a blur of hunger and panic. I'd dig through gas station trash for half-eaten burritos. Yep, that desperate. Tried begging once. Stood outside a McDonald's with my hood up, mumbling for spare change. Got a quarter, and a dirty look from some lady in a minivan. Day 3, my stomach was screaming, and I was so lightheaded I almost passed out by a dumpster. That's when I realized, nobody's coming. Not my parents, not Lisa, not some fairy godmother with a sandwich. I was alone, and if I didn't figure something out, I'd be a statistic, another kid who didn't make it. I kept moving, town to town, sleeping wherever I wouldn't get chased off, bus stops, under bridges, once in a laundromat until the owner caught me and threatened to call the cops. I was filthy, smelled like a gym sock left in the rain, and my shoes were falling apart. No support, no safety net, just me, a bag of clothes, and a growing chip on my shoulder the size of Texas. I'd see families through diner windows, laughing over fries, and I'd want to smash the glass, not because I was jealous, but because I was pissed. My family didn't just give up, they erased me. And every time I thought about crawling back, I'd picture my dad's smug face and keep walking. Next day I was standing in front of a truck stop with a "Help Wanted" sign and a stomach so empty it's practically yelling at me. I'm a mess. Hair greasy, clothes reeking like a landfill, and I've got no idea what I'm doing. But I'm done scavenging for scraps like some alley cat. I walk in, head high like I own the place, and ask the guy behind the counter, big dude with a beard like a Viking, if the job's still open. He looks me up and down, snorts, and says, "Kid, you look like you crawled out of a sewer. What can you even do?" I grin, probably look feral, and say, "Anything you don't wanna." He laughs, hands me a mop, and tells me I've got one shift to prove I'm not useless. Minimum wage, under the table, no questions. Day one of not dying. That job was a grind, mopping floors, scrubbing toilets, hauling trash, while truckers bitched about cold coffee. I'd work 6 hours, crash on a bench out back, then do it again. The Viking, his name was Carl, didn't care where I came from, just that I showed up. I'd pocket maybe $30 a day, enough for a burger and a bus ticket to nowhere special. Slept in shelters when I could, on the street when I couldn't. But I was good at it, hustling, I mean. I'd chat up the regulars, crack jokes, keep 'em laughing. Turns out, people tip better when you don't act like a kicked puppy. By month 2, Carl's tossing the extra shifts, saying I'm not as dumb as I look. High praise, right? I bounced after that. Truck stop to gas station to diner, picking up whatever gigs I could. Washed dishes, swept parking lots, even hauled crates at a warehouse until my back screamed. Every job was a slog, but I got scrappy, learned to talk fast, smile through the exhaustion, convince people I was worth keeping around. Then I stumbled into sales by accident. Some guy at the diner left a box of knockoff sunglasses, cheap plastic crap, probably fell off a truck. I snagged him, started hawking them to truckers out back. $5, best shades you'll ever wear, I'd say, spinning some BS about UV protection. Sold the whole box in an hour, made $50. Lightbulb moment, I could sell. Not just survive, sell. From there, it was game on. I'd hit flea markets, buy junk, broken watches, old hats, whatever, and flip it for double. Worked my ass off, nights spent figuring prices, days talking strangers into parting with cash. I wasn't slick yet, just loud and persistent. Got a knack for reading people, knowing who'd bite and who'd walk. By 16, I'm crashing in a rented room, no more benches, and I've got a beat-up bike to get around. Hustled my way into a gig at a car lot, started washing the clunkers, ended up selling M. Boss caught me sweet-talking a guy into a rusty sedan, said, "Kid, you're wasted on a hose." Gave me a shot at commission. First sale, I made more in a day than I had in a month at the truck stop. I was hooked. Just when I'm getting good, 17, pulling in real money, building something, my old man shows up. Yeah, the guy who kicked me out. I'm at the lot, closing a deal, when this beat-up station wagon rolls in, and out steps Dad, looking like he's aged 20 years. He's all smiles, clapping me on the back like we're buddies, saying he heard I was doing all right. Heard from who? No clue. I'm standing there, tie crooked, hands greasy, thinking, you've got to be kidding me. He starts yapping about how he always knew I'd turn it around, like he planned this. I laugh in his face, couldn't help it, and tell him to get lost. He drives off, pissed, but I know it's not the last I'll see of him. That fire I'd been stoking? It's roaring now. I'm not just surviving, I'm building something, and it's mine, not theirs. I went from peddling scratched-up sunglasses to running a damn empire. By 20, I ditched the car lot and started my own gig, buying cheap lots of wholesale crap, flipping it online for a killing. Clothes, tech, whatever moved, I'd find the angle, talk it up, sell it out. Turned out, I wasn't just good at talking, I was a freaking wizard at it. Built a website off a library computer. Hustled my first batch from a storage unit I rented with my last paycheck. First year, I cleared 50 grand. By 25, I'm pulling millions, plural, running a legit company with warehouses, employees, the works. Me, the kid who couldn't pass algebra, now signing checks with more zeros than my old report cards. Suck on that, Dad. I'm living good. Apartment downtown, car that doesn't rattle, suits that don't come from thrift bins. People know my name, not as that homeless screw-up, but as the guy who turns nothing into gold. I'm not bragging. Okay, maybe a little. But it's wild to think I went from eating dumpster fries to sipping whiskey with COs. Built it all myself, no handouts, no trust fund. Just me and that fire I've been carrying since the curb. Every deal I close, every dollar I bank, it's a middle finger to the ones who said I'd rot. And for a while, I figured they were gone. My parents, I mean. Hadn't heard a peep since my dad's awkward car lot cameo. Thought maybe they'd finally choked on their own smugness. Nope. Cue the leeches. I'm 28, company's booming, just landed a fat contract with a retail chain, when I get a call. Unknown number, but I pick up, big mistake. It's my mom, voice all syrupy, like she's reading off a script. "We're so proud of you," she says, like she didn't toss me out with the trash. "We always knew you'd make it." I'm sitting there, jaw on the floor, wondering if she's high. Then my dad gets on, chiming in with, "All that tough love paid off, huh?" Tough love? Kicking a kid to the street ain't love. It's a felony with extra steps. They start gushing about how they raised me right, how my success is thanks to them. I hang up mid-sentence, half laughing, half raging. They've got some balls. Next thing I know, they're everywhere. Family friends I haven't seen in years hit me up, saying my parents won't shut up about their boy, the businessman. They're posting online, freaking Facebook, of all places, pictures of me as a kid, captioned like they're the masterminds of my life. "We taught him hard work." Yeah, you taught me how to sleep in a slide, you clowns. I ignore it at first, too busy raking in cash, but it's spreading. Lisa, my sister, calls to warn me they're milking it hard, acting like saints who sacrificed for me. She's the only one I still talk to. She didn't ditch me back then, just stayed quiet. Says they're planning some big family dinner to celebrate my achievements. Oh hell no. They don't just want credit, they want a cut. I dig around, find out they've been telling people I owe them for my start. Dad's even hinted to some cousin I should invest in his latest genius plan, a used car lot, because of course it is. I'm fuming, but I'm also grinning. They think they can waltz back in, slap their name on my grind, and cash out? Nah, I've been waiting for this. All those years of their crap, all that time proving I'm worth something, they just handed me the perfect chance to bury them. So, the big family dinner rolls around, and I'm not missing it for the world. Not because I'm sentimental, but because I've got a score to settle. My parents sent out invites like it's a damn gala. Relatives, old neighbors, even some random church folks they suckered into their sob story. It's at their house, same one they kicked me out of, decked out with balloons and a banner, celebrating our son's success. My success? Their words. I'm laughing before I even pull up, because they've got no idea what's coming. I show up late, on purpose, rocking a suit that costs more than their mortgage, carrying nothing but a smirk and a USB drive I've been prepping for days. I walk in, and it's a circus. Mom's in full martyr mode, hugging me like I didn't spend years hating her guts, saying, "Oh, we missed you so much." Dad shaking hands, telling everyone how proud he is, like he didn't smash my phone with a hammer once. Lisa's in the corner, giving me a look like, You sure about this? I nod. Oh, I'm sure. They've set up a slideshow on the TV, old pics of me as a kid, captioned with crap like, "We always believed in him." The room's eating it up. Oz claps, the works. Then Mom starts her speech, voice cracking like she's auditioning for an Oscar. "We sacrificed everything to make him who he is," she says, wiping a fake tear. "Even when it was hard, we never gave up on him." I almost choke on my drink. That's my cue. I stand up, glass in hand, and say, "Mind if I say a few words?" They beam. Idiots, thinking I'm about to thank them. I plug my USB into the TV, kill their slideshow, and pull up my own. First slide's a photo of me at 14, filthy, sleeping on a park bench, snapped by some guy I paid later to track it down. Room goes dead quiet. "This is me after you never gave up," I say, voice loud, steady. "Kicked me out at 14 over grades. No food, no money, just a trash bag and a good luck." Mom's face goes white. Dad's gripping his chair like it's gonna save him. I flip to the next slide. Screenshot of their Facebook post claiming they raised me right. "Funny," I say, "because I don't remember you raising me when I was eating out of dumpsters." The room's buzzing now, people shifting, whispering. I keep going, slide after slide, receipts of their BS. A pic of my smashed phone, timestamped from a friend's camera. A note from my old art teacher saying they yanked me from club. Even a voicemail from Dad, years back, telling me not to bother coming home. I'm pacing, half yelling, half laughing. "You didn't sacrifice Jack. You dumped me, lied about it, then tried to cash in when I made it. This," I gesture at myself, suit, watch, everything. "This is mine. You don't get to touch it." Aunt Karen tries to cut in all. "But they're your parents." I spit on her. "Parents don't leave a kid to die." "They did." Dad snaps, stands up, red-faced, and yells, "You ungrateful little punk. We gave you a roof." I laugh so hard I almost dropped the remote. "A roof? Till you locked me out of it." Then Mom tries to play victim, sobbing, "We were teaching you a lesson." I point at the screen, still showing that bench pic. "Lesson learned, trust no one." The room's chaos. Half the guests are stunned, half are yelling at each other. Lisa's smirking now. She's on my side. I toss the remote on the table, grab my keys, and say, "Enjoy your party. I'm done." Walk out to dead silence. So yeah, after I blew up their stupid dinner and called out their fake crap in front of everyone, I didn't hang around to see them squirm. My phone went nuts after. Texts from cousins, voicemails from aunts, all. "How could you do that?" Like I'm the jerk for not letting my parents sponge off me. I blocked them all, didn't waste a second replying. Next day, I hear through the grapevine, "Yeah, Lisa again, that my parents are spitting it like I'm the monster. He's always been troubled." They're telling people, like I'm some soap opera villain. Funny how troubled means. "Won't let us leech off him." They even tried calling my office, leaving messages about reconciling. I had my assistant trash him, told her if they show up, call security. I'm done playing their game. Cut them off like a bad habit. No second chances, no. Maybe someday. They don't get a piece of me. Not my money, not my time, not even my shadow.